you're not pretty if you don't think that you're pretty. You are just not. And I don't say that to be mean, but I do say it to bring some awareness to this topic. Because something that I realize is when I make comments about making yourself presentable and showing up for yourself and putting energy and effort into your appearance, oftentimes when you talk like that, people have a perception of what you mean. So typically when I say that, it gets drawn in and people think that I'm saying to put on makeup, to do your lashes, to have your nails done, to make sure that your hair is glamorous and straight or curly, to make sure that your outfit is down to a T. And really what I mean is just what I said. Make yourself look presentable and put energy and effort into your appearance. Now, I am speaking specifically from the perspective of a wife, but this just applies in general to individuals as well. So, when I spoke about this topic previously, I said that we talked about the wandering eye of your husband and how you should be showing up as your best self, in part not to keep his eye from wandering, but to develop the discipline of showing up and looking good for yourself. And if you look good, you're not worried about his eye wandering. Oftentimes, I find that the insecurities stir up in you as a wife or a girlfriend, or even sometimes as a husband, the insecurities stir up because you see this person looking at other people and not looking at you. And then you're like, oh, they're not looking at me because I have on sweatpants and this other girl has on a dress. So let's say you go to dinner with your husband and you decide to put on a pair of Nike sweats. Okay, yeah, that's comfy, but you're going to dinner. So when you get to dinner, if there's a woman that walks by with her perfume on and her nice dress and her shoes, I'm not saying it's right for him to look, but he probably will. And even if you were dressed up, he probably still would glance at the lady. I don't know. But the insecurity and the problem that you have is that he's looking at this other woman. And oftentimes it's because you have not put the energy and effort into your appearance. So let's also have this conversation about when we talk about showing up, we also have to have this understanding of time and place, because I'm not at all implying that you need to be a supermodel around your house. Okay. Sometimes you're going to look busted. Sometimes your husband is going to see you with your face mask on. Sometimes you're just not going to feel well. Sometimes you don't have the drive or the will to get out of bed and put on clothes. You're going to have your days. But what I am talking about is consistently putting forth energy and effort. So if you make it a regular habit to take care of yourself and look presentable, I think that is fair. If you hear things like that and the first thing that screams out is, well, why do I have to do all of that? I think you should be single until you can figure out how to be a considerate human being. Because again, nobody's saying that you have to do these things all the time and be perfect all the time. We're just saying, why can't you look well kept? That's all. And this typically comes down to having good habits and healthy practices, right? So what I'm not saying is that you have to look like you walk out of a salon every day. What I am saying is, as women, we know what works for us. We know what hairstyle works well for us. We know what looks good on us. We know what's easy to maintain. So if you discover that wearing your hair straight, which this was the case for me, I have natural hair, and for maybe like the past 4 years, I was wearing my hair straight. Like my natural hair, I was wearing it straight. So I would get my hair washed, I would get a silk press, or I would straighten my hair at home, and I would maintain that for 2 weeks. Very easy, very straightforward, because I wash my hair once every 2 weeks, and I would just have to put my hair up at night in a way to maintain the style. And that was working for me. That was my thing. That was something that helped me to look put together all the time. I wasn't experimenting and chancing, taking the chance on styles that I didn't know would work for me, right? So for instance, let's say every week I'm just like, oh, I wonder how this will look. I wonder how this will look. It's less likely for me to look put together on a consistent basis because I'm always experimenting with things. So I would say part of that and part of looking put together is experimenting less and sticking to what actually works. Because if you have a hairstyle that you do consistently and you deviate every now and then because you want to try something new, you're going to consistently look good and you're going to consistently feel good and have confidence in the way you put yourself together because you have perfected the way that you do your hair in that regard. And it looks good. So if it isn't broke, don't fix it, right? Same thing with like nails. I think for me, I like a good, clean, short, very simple manicure, right? But if you know that you like it a certain way, if you like your nails done a certain way, be consistent in doing that. If you like bright colors and you like new designs all the time and that's your thing, stick to that. Don't experiment. Find something that works for you and stick to it. Find a routine that works for you and stick to it. I actually do my nails at home. I sometimes put on press-ons because they're just convenient for me. They give me the salon look whenever I want to change it up. But even my press-ons are very natural looking. So I do my manicures at home and it doesn't take very long. I oil my cuticles, I push them back, I clip them down. But like once every couple of weeks, I will just do a full manicure where like I really take care of my hands. I take a lot of time and get them together, all the things. And again, that is part of my routine. One of the things that I think we allow to slip through the cracks when it comes to our appearance and taking care of ourselves is our well-being and how we treat our bodies. So like movement, exercise, the nutrients that we put in our body. And to be fair, it's very easy to neglect these because if you look around, snacks are everywhere, sodas are everywhere. So it's very easy to pick up a soda and some chips and skip straight over like a nice little salad and some water or a nice smoothie or a fruit bowl, or even just thinking about how you pair your proteins and how you pair your food. Like it's very easy for us to get into this habit of snacking and then couple that with the fact that we don't move nearly as much as we should, right? So maybe you're a heavy snacker and you're not exercising. How can you build sustainable routines for yourself? Everything that I'm going to say all follows the same theme. When I say figure out what works for your hair and do that, figure out what works for your nails and do that, figure out what works for your food. I am a person, I eat the same food all the time. I will give my family variety. I will cook them a different meal every day. I will do all of the things. But when it comes to me, I'm going to eat this kale salad and I'm going to eat this smoothie. And I'm not depriving myself because my kale salad is fire. Every salad that I make is fire. Every smoothie that I make is fire. I actually enjoy the food that I eat, even if it's simple. But my point is, I don't have to spend a lot of time doing it. I think that taking care of ourselves gets put on the back burner because oftentimes we make it such a complicated process. We make it we make it a big feat. We make it a big thing. We make it hard to do, and we overcomplicate it. So I would be a person who is trying to drink 12 different types of smoothies every 2 weeks. Like I want variety. I want to make sure I'm not eating the same thing every day. But the more you start to do that, the more you confuse yourself and the less you're in routine. When something is a routine, when something is a habit, when something is like, I don't even have to think about it. It's just done. Like, I know that this is how it's supposed to be. It's so much easier to stay consistent and to follow that thing through and to stick with it. So I think the reason that a lot of people don't eat as healthy as they should or take care of their bodies as far as movement is because they're not simplifying the task enough. Okay. So I drink, when I say the same smoothie, the same salad, sometimes I deviate. I make the same trail mix. I don't really drink anything other than water. When you have simple things or the decisions are made for you, or I will add this caveat, if you want variety, keep a food calendar. And if that is too much for you, you don't want variety. Here's what I mean. As opposed to being like, I probably eat the same 2 to 3 salads every week. I probably have the same 1 or 2 smoothies every week. If I decided that I no longer wanted to fall into that routine and I wanted to eat something different every day, I would take like a sheet of paper or a notebook and I would write out every single day what I'm going to eat. I would write out every single day what I'm going to put in my smoothie, and then I would just plan those things out so that I could have that variety without having to put too much thought in it. And my comment about if you don't want to do that, then you don't want variety is just that. It's just like I say, if you want something bad enough, you're going to do it. So if you say I want variety in my diet and that is presented to you as an option, you're like, oh, I'm not doing all that, then you don't want variety in your diet. Conversation over. So that is one way that I would look at that. And then the other aspect of that is your physical fitness. This does not have to be going to the gym and spending 3 hours at the gym. You can walk. Something that I realized at this point in my life, as much as I enjoy going to the gym twice a day, and not to work out, like I just like walking on a treadmill on an incline because I'm that kind of girl. But as much as I love doing that, my baby got to a point where I just can't get that time away from him unless I do extreme things. Even with me waking up earlier, it's just not very practical because me waking up earlier, I like to allocate my time to other things now. So my fitness is oftentimes with my baby. And how do I do that? We go for an hour walk twice a day. Most often twice a day. These past couple days, we ain't been doing that because it's freezing outside. It's ridiculous. But typically, I actually put him in a stroller and we'll go for a walk. I'll invite my daughters to come, but they don't have to if they don't want to. Most of the time, they do. But that is something that helps me to build a routine in that regard. Another way that you can build a routine to help yourself to look your best and put together all the time is having a uniform. And I'm not trying to take the fun out of fashion at all. I'm not trying to take the fun out of getting dressed at all. But for me, and if you relate to this type of thinking, I'm just trying to simplify it. And simplify it does not mean taking the character and the fun out of it. It just means you're making it easier for yourself. So first, I have a home uniform where like I have a drawer full of clothes, loungewear, cute little sets that I do not wear outside of the house. I just wear them around the house. And these things are separate from like my pajamas, because you can sleep in something and then be tempted to just stay in that all day because you're home. And that's fine sometimes. Sometimes your pajamas are really cute. Sometimes they're kind of functional. Sometimes it's cool. But for me, I like to get up and change. And even if I'm home, I still want to be comfy, but I also want to be cute. So having that home uniform is like, oh, okay, I don't have to think too much. Open that drawer, pull something out and put it on. Done. Right? Very little effort. You're put together. And before I cut my hair, I would just get up, take like my rollers out, fluff my hair around, make sure I brush my teeth, moisturize my skin. Now I'm cute in my house for myself, for my husband, setting an example for my children. And it's just very effortless because it doesn't take a lot. And the thing that grinds my gears when people are argumentative about these topics is that we sit here and pretend like it's so difficult to do. Having routines is not difficult to do. It's the setting them up and being consistent in those things that's difficult. So in the beginning, you might struggle with your hair. You might struggle with trying to figure out what style works best for you. Like my hair, now that I cut it, it's very easy because I just do wash and goes. So I do a wash and go once a week and that's it. I understand my hair is going to get a little frizzy and out of place throughout the week, but I also have scarves. I am not like against tying my hair up, putting a little head wrap on. I'm not against like refreshing my hair. I'm not against putting on a cute little hat because that's where I am in my life. But I know that the first step is wash and go, done. My hair will last the whole week, sometimes a little bit longer than that. And if need be, I make adjustments by using head coverings and whatever else I need. For you, like I said, if you haven't been doing this, maybe you have to figure that part out. Do I like my hair in curls? Do I like getting my hair braided? Do I want to get a sew-in? Whatever the case may be, you have to kind of like walk yourself through those things to figure it out. Same thing with your nails. Same thing with what you want to eat and how you want to fuel your body. Same thing with the clothes you put on your body. Now, I did talk about your clothes in your house, but I also want to briefly talk about like your actual wardrobe. I think this also comes with getting to know yourself, and it also comes with simplifying your wardrobe. Just like I said with everything else, it comes down to simplifying things. If you go through your closet and every time you're looking in your closet, you're like, I have nothing to wear, it's time for you to reevaluate. And I think you should start with the realization that you don't like your clothes. Because if you have a closet full of things, which I'm sure you currently do, and you find yourself saying, I have nothing to wear, it's because you have no inspiration, and it's because you don't like what you have. I don't know if you can remember a time when you were younger when you had like a favorite piece or a favorite article of clothing. You would wear that thing down to the ground. You would wear it all the time. You would try to find ways to pair it in with other outfits because you loved it that much. It's the same thing in adulthood. If you don't have something that you be itching to put on your body or that you can put on in a moment's notice, you don't like your clothes. So if you find yourself saying, I have nothing to wear, or you find yourself constantly shopping for things but never having anything to put on your body, it's because you do not like your clothes and it's time for you to reevaluate. And you don't necessarily need to go shopping for all new things, but you do need to start by removing things from your closet that you actually don't appreciate or don't have a care for. And that can look like a lot of different things. I like to do that in 30-day cycles where I spend 30 days reshopping my closet. I turn all the hangers the same way. And then as I wear items and I put them back on the hangers, I turn them in the opposite direction. So if I wear this shirt today and I wash it, when I take it out the wash and it's dry and I go back to hang it up, I put it back in my closet the other way. This allows me at the end of 30 days to see what I wore because all of the hangers are flipped. So everything that's flipped is stuff that I wore and stuff that I'm likely going to wear again within the next 30 days. And everything that I did not wear during that period, I'm kind of evaluating. After that 30 days, I'm like, well, why didn't I wear this? Is it because the weather just didn't permit? Is it because I think that this is ugly? Is it because I don't have anything to wear with it? What is going on with that? And then you kind of go through and you diagnose those issues so that you can kind of figure out what to bring in next, what's going to be beneficial, what you can get rid of, and then basically building your future and incoming wardrobe around those things. And so I think that collectively, when we have conversations about looking our best and looking presentable, even though it seems or it sounds like a very daunting task, or it feels like it can be overbearing, or it feels like it's placing a large responsibility on women to hyper perform all the time, it really is not that difficult and is not overperforming in any particular way. It's just a matter of showing yourself that you matter, showing up for yourself, showing up for your husband if you have one, showing up for the people around you, and just having that self-care, right? And having that self-understanding. Now, the reason that I said everything that I said in this way is because this is so personal. It's not, none of these things mean that you have to look a certain way. And that's why I said, if you don't think you're pretty, you're not pretty. So don't hear this and think that I'm saying you have to present yourself in a specific way. The only thing that you have to do is show up consistently and put in the energy and effort. However you like to wear your hair, if you like that and it suits you, do that. Don't let people tell you you should wear your hair like this, you should wear your clothes like this, you should wear your makeup like this, because those things don't matter. Even when it comes down to makeup, if you notice, I didn't even talk about makeup in this video because I don't wear makeup regularly. The most I'll do is put on these little bronzy drops. But I don't know how to do my makeup at this big age, I know. And I feel prettier and more confident without makeup on, because when I do apply makeup, I just don't think that it suits me. I get my face professionally done when I need to have it done, and sometimes I put a little bit on here and there. But again, notice I'm not telling you you have to be in full face makeup. You got to have on heels. You got to wear this. You got to have your edges done. No, I think that with the baseline of understanding of what I just described, you have to take those principles and apply it to yourself. And you have to love the way that you look. You have to love the way that you feel. You have to love the food that you're eating. You have to love the way your nails look. And in you loving the presentation of yourself and figuring out how to express yourself in that regard, that is how you make yourself pretty. That is how you pull yourself together, because it's not about trying to fit a specific aesthetic. It's just really about showing up for yourself, because the only thing I can definitively say is you should not be walking outside with a bonnet and pajamas on. Other than that, it's going to be up to your personal style and preference. And I really hope that this video gave more clarity to my thoughts on that, because I really don't have thoughts about how each individual person should look and present themselves. The only thought I have is that you should care about the way that you present yourself, and you should care about the way that you look when you do step out into the world, and even when you're at home. So I hope that this was helpful in that regard.